Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris squaring off on the debate stage last night, meeting face-to-face for the very first time. It was a heated debate less than 2 months until Election Day.
Joining us right now on the phone to react after that very busy night, the 45th President of the United States, to the GOP presidential nominee, Donald Trump. Mr. President, how do you feel about the night? 105 minutes long. You've done this before. I think it's your 8th one. What is your review of your performance?
Well, I looked at the poll numbers. I listened to Harold Ford. I don't know what he was watching because I think he wasn't watching the debate that I was in yesterday. I think we did great. It was 3-1. It was a rigged deal, as I assumed it would be, because when you looked at the fact that they were correcting everything and not correcting with her, and we knew it when it was 100% good coverage for her over the last month or last year. I looked at it and only bad coverage of me, no matter what. The press is so dishonest in this country, it's amazing. Now, I didn't mind because, frankly, I was pretty sure that's what they would do. CNN was much more honorable. The debate we had with Biden was a much more honorably run debate. But this was incredible. I mean, everything, so many things I said were debunked, totally debunked, like Charlottesville. I have a list of 7 different things. And she could say anything she wanted, everything. Every time I spoke, and my stuff was right, they'd correct you. I thought it was terrible from the standpoint of ABC. They're the most dishonest, in my opinion, the most dishonest news organization. And that's saying a lot because they're all essentially really dishonest. But I thought I did a great job. It was 3-on-1. And I thought I did a great job. Now, we sent you the polls, but every single poll last night had me winning like 90-10. We had C-SPAN at one point was at 80-20, and I don't know how it finished. That was late last night, so I have no idea. But it was at 80-20. I told that to Brett Baer, and we sent him a lot of polls, and we sent you a lot of polls this morning. And every single poll had us winning by a lot, despite the fact that it was an unfair debate, obviously, and it was a 3-on-1. And that's okay. I've had worse odds in my life. I've had it before, but never so obvious. A lot of people are very angry about it. You know, you have corrupt news organizations. You have a lot of bad people. It's amazing in that business. In your business.
Yeah, Mr. President, we kind of expected it because when you look at Media Research Center, they said 100% of the stories covered on ABC about Kamala, 100% of the time was positive. 93% of the time when they covered you, it was negative. So it was infuriating to watch them fact check you and not her when she brought up IVF, when she brought up Project 2025 several times, and when she brought up Charlottesville. Here are some of the lies that she said about you. Listen.
A detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
And the bloodbath, you were talking about the economy. It's a term that's used a lot when people are talking about a bad economy. What's your reaction to why didn't the moderators correct her?
Because they're dishonest, and because I think ABC took a big hit last night. I mean, to be honest, they're a news organization. They have to be licensed to do it. They ought to take away their license for the way they did that. Bloodbath was referring to the economy. Everybody loved the term because as soon as they heard the word, it's sort of a vicious word. But referring to the economy, they have created an economy. Bloodbath was the word that I used. And it was fine in that context. And they were trying to make it sound like there was a riot or something, and it was a bloodbath. IVF, I was a leader on IVF, the IVF, which is fertilization. I was a total leader on that. When I first heard about it, like right from the beginning, I was one of the leaders on it, and the Republican Party has been a leader on it. She tried to say it was just the opposite. The whole thing with abortion, what he said, I mean, it was incredible. I think he corrected me 6 times. And each time
Mr.
I was
President?
right. I believe each time I was right, didn't correct her at all, and she was saying these things. She was using, like, Charlottesville. She was using Charlottesville, and everybody, you take a look at Laura Ingraham, she did it incredibly. She had it totally debunked. She said that, in fact, it makes it angry. She gets angry when people hear about Charlottesville, when they use that, because what they did is they stopped and they didn't put the following sentence in. And when they put the last sentence in, when it was all put together, what I said was absolutely perfect. And ABC knew that. Everybody knew that, frankly. I think they lost a lot of credibility. But regardless, look, the polls are saying that I won that by 80-20, 90. We have one here, 92-7, and I sort of believe that's right. I thought, look, I've been told I'm a good debater. I think it was one of my better debates, maybe my best debate. I think. I don't know. That's why I'm disappointed in this guy, Harold Ford. I don't know if he's still there, but I don't know what he was watching, because he was just as dishonest as ABC, in my opinion.
Mr. President, I interrupted a moment ago. They just on the face of the Pentagon. Every year for the last 23 years, we have gone down to the Pentagon at 6:46. That's sunrise down in the Washington, D.C. area. When they unfurl that flag to commemorate American Airlines Flight 77 that crashed into the Pentagon, it killed all 64 on board, 125 people at the Pentagon, 184 people lost their lives 23 years ago today. And I know you are going to take part in some of the commemorations as well here in New York City and in Pennsylvania.
That's right. I'll be doing that in a little while. In fact, right after this call, I leave. I'm going down to the World Trade Center site, and I'll be down there for much of it. JD's going with me. And we had a great talk about it yesterday. It was very, very sad, horrible day. Horrible day. There's never been anything like it. Just a horrible day. And then going to Pennsylvania, of course. And so I'm going to be doing both of them. Sometimes I'll do all three. Sometimes it doesn't work out when they're sort of simultaneously done, but we're going to be doing two of them today.
So last night, all three planes are there. You got Air Force 2, you got Trump Force 1, J.D. Vance's plane. We're all together. You guys are going to be at the site together. President Biden, I think, will be there. Are you going to say anything to them?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's, look, everybody should be very angry at how badly they've run this country. Millions of people are floating into our country. Many of them should not be here. They're criminals, many criminals coming in, many terrorists coming in, people coming. They're emptying their jails into our country. They're emptying, think of it, they're emptying their mental institutions. People that are mentally ill are being dropped into our country. And these two people, and it's both of them, they allow it to happen. What they're doing is terrible. I saw your report yesterday in Ohio, with Springfield, Ohio. And Aurora, if you look at Colorado, Colorado, these thugs from Venezuela and Aurora have taken over. People from Haiti, I guess, have come in illegally, totally come in illegally into our country, and
Do you think you made that point last night?
Ohio.
Do you think you made that? Do you think you made that point last night, that you believe the border is directly affecting all these cities and all these towns?
Oh, I think I made it twice or maybe even three times. In fact, I said, I wonder if I'm saying this is too much. How can you say it too much? They've allowed 21 million, I think is the real number. It could be more than that. 21, that's bigger than New York State. They've allowed 21 million people to come into our country. Many of these people are criminals. And by the way, those countries are being emptied out of their criminals, and their crime rates are way down. Their prison populations are being dumped into the United States. Their populations in prison are way down. Their mental institutions, their populations are way down. And it's all over the world. It's not just South America. They're coming in from the Congo and Africa. They're coming from all over the world, the Middle East, Europe, Asia. They're coming in from everywhere, not just South America. And they're coming in at numbers you've never seen. They're literally destroying our country. These people have no idea, or maybe they do. The only reason they can be doing it is because they hate our country. They hate our country.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare the border numbers, the terror watch list suspects under you, there were 11. Under Kamala Harris, 375. Now, foreign policy did come up at last night's debate. Listen to this soundbite, or our audience can listen to this, and we'll get your reaction on the other side.
if she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal.
It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind. They blew it.
You said when you were at the town hall with Sean Hannity, you said a lot of people, you might not like me, but you're safer under me. You have more money in your bank accounts under me. So why do you think our country would be safer under you, Mr. President?
Because I deal with foreign policy. I'll give you an example. Afghanistan, we had a great agreement, but it was agreement subject to them doing a lot of different things. They didn't do those things, and when they didn't do them, we terminate the agreement. These clowns had no idea what to do. They had Milley, who's incompetent. They had Biden, who's incompetent. All of the people are incompetent. Nobody ever gets fired. They don't fire anybody. They let them just stay on, retire, no problem. Milley should have been fired and reprimanded like you've never seen. These people are incompetent. They left billions of dollars worth of equipment behind, yet 13 dead soldiers. They shouldn't have used that airport. They should have used Bagram, which, by the way, they gave up, and they shouldn't have given it up because that's only 1 hour away from China where they make their nuclear weapons. No, they took a good agreement, but the agreement was subject to the Taliban doing things. And remember this, just in ending that, I went 18 months without one soldier killed. I spoke to the head of the Taliban, Abdul, and I said, I had a nice, tough talk with him. Not one soldier was killed in 18 months until that catastrophe happened. It was absolutely, we were running it perfectly. But the agreement didn't mean anything because they had to, in other words, to have the agreement kick in.
It was conditions-based.
They didn't do the things. Who would take the military out first? They're incompetent. They took the military out first. You're supposed to take the military out last. And they left lots of Americans behind. And then they had the worst airlift nobody's ever seen. People falling off an airplane from 3,000 feet in the air. Many people. They are incompetent, and they shouldn't be running the country, and we'll end up in World War III because of these fools.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.